painting some beards or painting some hair. This is what I'm going to be doing in this video. 3 shades of hair or beard on a couple of dwarves. It's going to be red, brown, and a sort of grey. Now this might as well be humans, not dwarves, or orcs, or whatever. Do orcs have hair? I don't know if I've seen an orc with hair, actually. Maybe they do. Regardless, you could apply this technique to any hair. You don't have to just be focusing on the fact that I'm painting small folk. So the first is going to be the orange, or red/orange hair or beard. And it's a heavy red, Vallejo game color, amaranth red, Vallejo model color, flat yellow, Vallejo model color. And I almost forgot, there's also purple, royal purple Vallejo game color. This is sort of the piece of the pie, pudding, whatever. Now the process really is fairly simple. I start with the heavy red, and it's diluted with fair amounts of water. All my paints are kind of diluted with fair amounts of water. So probably 2 layers of the heavy red just to get a complete coverage of all the beard and hair with the red. After that, it's the purple, and this is just for the absolute recesses, sort of in the deepest crack of the beard. Beard crack sounds weird, but you get my drift. And sort of underneath, anything that's really in shadow, I paint purple. And then moving on to the amaranth red, rojo amaranth. The important thing when you start adding these brighter colors is not to cover the entire beard again. You want to leave the red and the purple wherever it's, a recess. So this is when you need to start sort of paying attention to where the strands of hair actually are, and only paint the strands of hair that are sticking out with the orange, and leaving sort of the crevices red. If you painted all orange, then whatever you did before was just a waste of time. You want the darker color to act as your shade. And it's not only just painting all the strands of hair that are sticking out with the orange. It might be nice to leave some red wherever there's like a big, say back here, usually there's there could be like a swirl that could still be darker. And like wherever the beard goes in, it'll give you a bit more of a sort of flowing effect on the beard. But anyway, next step is adding some of the flat yellow to the amaranth red. It's called amaranth red, but it's orange. But I guess it would be boring just naming it orange. At least these colors have more sort of logical names than certain other companies that you can't even pronounce. Mix in a bit of yellow with the amaranth red and doing the next layer, and sort of keeping in mind that you're working at sort of like a gradient. So you don't want to cover up all the orange with the yellow. This is for like wherever you want the beard to be the brightest. So like the strands that are really sort of sticking out. And then finally, I just add a little bit more yellow into the same mixture and do just the absolute tips of things, like, just really the tips of the mustache, and that really, whatever is sort of has become the brightest parts, just the real tip of that. I do a little bit brighter. And that's it. That's an orange beard that, in my opinion, looks really nice. Now for the brown, I used a few more colors than for the orange, just because I had to mix my own sort of base. Like the darkest base is flat earth from Vallejo's model color, mixed in with a little bit of heavy red from Vallejo game color, and an ounce of black. The result is sort of like a chocolatey brown. So if I would have had a chocolatey brown, I would probably have used that. So with that chocolate brown, I just cover all the beard and do it twice because the paint is fairly thin and watered down. In the absolute shadows, when you're on that step, it's some purple in the absolute shadows, same as on the orange one. And then it's just the same procedure of highlighting as before. I'm using this tan earth for the first layer of highlights, just getting sort of the strands going, but painting the different strands of hair that are sticking out, leaving the darker color in the shades. And then the final step, I mixed some white into the flat earth, but just an ounce of yellow as well, just to make it a little bit warmer. Not a lot, because I don't want it to be a yellow beard. I just wanted sort of a warmer brown for the tips. And finally, it's the sort of white grey-ish head dwarf. Now, it's basically 3 shades of grey. So it's a dark grey, a middle grey, and a light grey. The dark grey in this case is called London grey, Vallejo. The middle grey is called dark sea grey. The bright grey, I don't really have a brighter grey, so I made my own, mixing in some white, which is usually a nice trick if you want to brighten something up, is add white. And then it's just the same procedure as with the other beards. There's purple in the absolute recesses, and then I move up onto the lighter grey, which is the, what's it called? The dark sea grey. And then I just paint on that middle grey, making sure not to sort of cover up any recesses, and then move on to the brighter grey, same as with the other beards. Always trying to think like a gradient, not covering up what you've painted before too much, so that there's you can see all these different shades at the same time. And then finally, just on the tips of things, I just added white, like a few strands here and there, the ends of things. Yeah, it's just a diluted white, just to make him really sort of white head here and there. And there's my three dwarves with lovely shades of hair. I think the orange one is really turned out great. I think that sort of, as a specific recipe, that would work great on sort of, what are they called? Dragon slayers? The dwarves without clothes on and lots of orange hair running around with big axes. I think you know what I mean. The technique itself is pretty simple and straightforward, and you could use it for any shades. One of the most important things that really makes the hair sort of come alive a little bit is having different colors in there. The purple in this case, in the shadows, just makes the orange so much more orange, and it just gives it a little bit more life. I don't think it necessarily has to be purple, but if your shadows are maybe a little bit cooler and your highlights are a little bit warmer, makes a big difference. So even with the gray one, instead of having the one gray and like going from black to white with the shades of gray in between, there's some purple in there. I know that specifically with these two colors, the London gray is actually, it's a bit cool. It's a bit more blue, if you want to say that, whereas the dark sea gray is a warm gray, and that sort of also comes into play. And I think that's sort of the essence. It's not just the sort of painting in layers, but getting different color tones that are not specific to the color of the beard. Like I put purple in a red beard, kind of weird, but in the end it looks really nice. It might have looked nice with green, maybe not, but blue's nice. I hope you see where I'm going with this. I'm really starting to enjoy this technique of painting, which you probably noticed. It's also sort of a challenge for me with these dwarves. The last couple of videos have been a lot of same miniatures, not using any washes, just to see how things would go, and also sort of practice layer painting. And I'm really enjoying it, and I enjoy the result. I think in the end the miniatures look, it's got a different quality going, and I'm not saying it's as in quality, I don't mean better, I mean just a different quality that I like. I recommend just trying it out, at least on just the one hair or miniature or beard, wherever you can find one. It takes a bit more time than just, dry brushing and using washes and things like that. But you can just control the shape of things so much more. So please give it a try. And thanks for watching. Bye.